Hi Floss Tube, my name's Dana and my channel name is Gemstone Stitches. I'm back to do an update on my birthday. I am 38 today. My husband has taken the kids over to my mother-in-law's house because he needed to help her do something on the pond they live on. And I thought, why don't you take the kids and I can do a floss tube and get some stuff done around the house. We went out to eat last night to a nice restaurant and we went to a movie, which I don't know when's the last time I went to a movie. We saw The Last Duel, which it actually wasn't too bad. It was a pretty good movie. A little long, but it was pretty good. So I've been enjoying my weekend a lot. It's nice out today, nice and sunny. Yeah, I have a lot of plans today. We'll see if I can get around to everything that I need to do and want to do. Probably not, because I always have a million things on the list running in my brain, as most people do. So I have a lot of whips to show you. I have a couple purchases and I wanted to share what I am gonna be focusing on in the year 2022. I've been working on that and preparing for that and having a lot of fun doing it. It is a little out of my wheelhouse, I would say, but I'm gonna make a good effort and see what ends up happening with it. Okay, so let's get on to the whips. I took notes today because I want to be able to tell you the fabrics, and I want to insert pictures this time, which I haven't done in the last few videos. So today's October 24th. I don't know if the video is actually going to be out today. We'll see if I can get it all done. Because it always takes a lot longer when I put photos in. I have to do that on the computer and then upload it onto YouTube from the computer, which takes hours compared to just doing the video and uploading the video straight onto YouTube from my phone. Takes maybe an hour. I wish it was quick, just like that other process, but such is life. Okay. So first is Playing with Jacks, and it's by the Cricket Collection. Playing with Jacks. Love this Quakery pumpkin mix, the colors, and the cute pumpkin face. This is where it was the last time that you saw it. And here is where I am now. I'm stitching this on 30 count Baby's Breath linen by Weeks Dye Works, 2/2. This half is completely done with back stitch. There's a lot of back stitch and different threads on this pumpkin and some spots on this pumpkin. I've done this half of the center, but not this half because I still need to do a lot of stitching over here before I back stitch. And the bottom has acorns and these stripy leaves. I was concerned that this color was gonna blend too much into the fabric, but it doesn't. It works well. I actually heard on a Floss Tube, I'm watching a lot of, and I'll talk more about her channel later in the video, but I've been watching a lot of Long Dog Stitcher, Jenny, and she said that she doesn't like Weeks Dye Works linen because it's flimsy, and you know what? That's exactly my experience with this Weeks Dye Works. It is just too loose of a weave, and the holes can get stretched out real easily, so you have to be super careful with your tension. But I'm working with it. I'm making it happen. I could spend the rest of the week in October finishing this, or trying to, but I already worked on it quite a bit. I didn't even work on it in October. I worked on it in September, I think. But there's other things I want to work on and get to, so maybe another time. The next project that I pulled out is Coffeequaker by Heartstrings Samplery. That is what it looks like. Gonna hang it up by our coffee maker over there on the cabinet when it's done. And this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here is where I am now. So I've gotten some more motifs in. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Wren Newcastle linen 1/2. After I did the words, I was working on this motif, and there's actually a letter supposed to be in here, but I haven't figured out what letters I'm going to use. I messed up somewhere in here and had to frog a lot of this out and restitch it. Then when I went down to stitch this motif, I was lining it up with what I'd already stitched, which was the words. And I noticed that they weren't lined up properly. The word then was kind of over here instead of over here. So I decided to frog all the words out and restitch those before I went on to stitch this motif and this one. And I'm in the middle of this guy. Now, as you can see, it gets lost in the fabric. When you're real close, you can tell it's there. But at a certain point, I asked my husband to go hang it, like hold it up by the cabinet, and I looked over. You don't see it at all. And it is a light colored thread, as you can see, but the fabric they use in this is more of a very light color, like an antique white, and this is, it pops enough, I think, on it. But back here, you know, you barely see it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep the colors. I used my own pick of DMC for this, and this is the thread. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find a color that is darker, and I'm just gonna do a half stitch over everything I have already done and create my own blend to make it even more unique to my project. And it's kind of fun because it's a blend of coffees, if you will. It won't take that long to really zip a half stitch over it, and it's not in the pattern very much. There's this motif here, and then this guy. So that's that. I did do a big purchase of Needleminders, which I should remember. I don't remember who I got them from, but here's a candy corn. You can just search them on Etsy and I'm sure they'll pop up. And then this came free. Every order I made for Needleminders, they sent me a free Needleminder with it. And it's like a little chocolate cookie. Thought it would go good with the coffee. The next ones I worked on was my Mirabilias, because my daughter Tessa, she turned 1 on September 16th, and I am doing the September Sapphire Fairy and the May Emerald Fairy for my daughters, because Tinsley was born in May. So every May and every September I work on both those fairies. So it was time to pull them out. This is something I started this year in 2021. So I have spent 2 different weeks stitching on these. So this is what May's Emerald Fairy looks like. This is where it was last time. And here is where it is now. This is another new Needleminder, this blue one. So I have this upside down. Ooh. This is where I am now. There's a lot of white and light colors on this because this all right here is a very light blue. It's not actually white. This is white. That's a light blue. This is a Krennic that I'm adding. It's not called for, but I'm adding it. So I got some of these colors in, coppery browns. I'm not a fan of patterns where they leave unstitched areas, like the fabric shows through. So in her wings up here and down in here, I'm putting a very light Krennic color to add a little more sparkle, and I'm just doing it in a half stitch. And this is being stitched on 32 count antique white linen, which is the same fabric I'm using for the other fairy. Both are gonna get the same fabrics. So September Sapphire Fairy is this. This is where it was last time. And here we are now. So I added in a lot more green and this purple and orange Krennic. There's like a little orange speck of it and purple speck of it, and then there's tons of purple all throughout this part as well, and then some orange stripes. That Krennic is different. It's almost like a mini ribbon, as if you were going to have a dollhouse present like this big and you needed a ribbon on it. That's what you could use. It's thin and flat and very sparkly, like hieroglyphic. I should have brought it out here so you could see the little spool. So in order to stitch that and have it lay properly, because it needs to lay flat, otherwise it's even less coverage. It needs to lay flat. So what I would do is I would pull the thread up, then I would take another needle, because I don't have a laying tool, and I would stick it at the very base of the thread, put the thread back through the fabric. Before it was all the way taut, I would kind of press the needle onto the thread, the ribbon, and make sure it was laying flat before I pulled it taut. And then I just did that every single time. So it was a little fiddly, but I would say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working hard to try to make it as nice as I could. This is another Needleminder. This was actually free. I did not order this moth, but it was free. I'm not a really big fan of moths because we got infested with them and they were trying to attack all of our trees in our area. Which actually they're going to be back again. I guess it's like 2 to 3 year process before they might go away. And it was to the point where the trick was to tape the trunks of the trees outside with duct tape and then put a layer of Vaseline around that so that the caterpillars wouldn't try to crawl up onto the leaves and eat them, and then lay their eggs there and do their chrysalis process, make their cocoons. It was just, how many caterpillars there were, it was just crazy. And they're supposed to come back again next, I guess, spring to summer time. So anyway, this is pretty though. It's not a real moth, and I love sparkly, so it works. What else do I have for you? Okay, I worked on, I've been calling this the monthly series, but it's actually called Months of the Year, and it's by Little House Needleworks. So this is all of them together. So every month I do one. Last time, I can't remember if I showed you August or not. But there's another Needleminder. R for our last name. Here is August. I apologize for the wrinkles. When it's all said and done, I will iron it. Sailboat. Now, the way that I purchased these was 2 patterns in a pack. That's how they are. You can buy them, is 2 a pack. Because if you can see, the 2 patterns together use the same color of threads, just completely different patterns. So you get the 2 patterns plus the color of threads, classic colorworks that you need. Now I was going along nicely doing that for a while until I came across September, October, and I could not get my hands on it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I even emailed Little House Needleworks directly and asked them if there was any way they could just print me those 2 months rather than me having to purchase all of them, seeing as I already had all the other months, all the other 10 months of the year. And they said no. So I said, okay, well, can you let me know what classic colorwork colors those 2 months use, because I need to order all the months of the year from 1, 2, 3 Stitch and the classic colorwork colors. So they did email me that, and I ended up having to purchase all of them. Which is fine, because now what I'm going to do when I'm done in 2022 sometime, I will do a giveaway. So if you're interested, keep watching, because when I'm through with this, I will be doing a giveaway to people who are interested. And I really like the patterns. They're super cute. So before I could get my hands on September, I went ahead and skipped on to November. So November's already through. There's a thread on it. Cute little squirrel. Acorns. He's munching on an acorn. Big old leaf pumpkin. I like the colors of the leaves. And then I went back this month. At the beginning of the month, I did October. These take me a week to 2 weeks, depending on how much time I have and how much of a stitching mood I'm in. So, big old crow. When we do have a lot of big old black crows outside. And then I love the variegation in the pumpkin. I stitched it lengthwise to kind of mimic how pumpkins have those lines through them. How they grow. Little fence. So once November hits, I will be working on going back to September, and then we'll be all back on track for December, the last month of the year. And I'm gonna FFO them individually. So I have to cut it all apart and figure out exactly how I want to FFO this. That'll be a big project when I get around to it. I think Nell at Little House Needleworks has shown a lot of flat finishes and how she's finished smaller projects like this before, using like a couple different fabrics around. And maybe I'll put some magnets on it so I can just easily like switch them in and out. That's one thought. So I prefer not to put it in a frame because I do so much framing otherwise with my finishes. Try to get a little creative. The needle came off of my needle minder and was stuck in my jeans. Okay. So that is on Little House Needleworks Months of the Year, stitched on 36 count raw natural Edinburgh linen 2/2 using the called for classic colorwork threads. I did spend a week. I took a break on my stocking a little bit, and then I did spend the first week of October doing my Holiday Glow stocking. It's a Dimensions Gold kit using the Ada that it comes with. This will be for Tessa in 2022. It will not be finished this year. I have the middle page completely finished besides the back stitch, and that goes about down to here. So I was working on the top page, or am working on the top page. Once I'm through with that, I need to come down to the bottom. So here is where I am now. The Q-snap is covering some of the stitches. But I was able, oh, here's where I was. Sorry, forgot about that. And here's where I am now. So I was able to do there's a lot of half stitch using 3 to 4 strands of thread for all these blue, darker than this blue, then this blue, around the moon. And then the very middle of the moon is, oops. Sorry about that. The very middle of the moon is 2/2 again. And then I started in on the border. So it goes kind of fast with the half stitches, but it's hard on your fingers. And so the next thing I need to do is figure out what I want to do. I'm going to use the red and the gold up here, and the red for the name. But again, like I was mentioning, I don't like when they just use the fabric in the background. That's just the Ada back there. I want something stitched and covering the Ada. I'm not sure I want stark white with the red. That being said, I don't know exactly what I should do. My two thoughts are use one of the blues from the snowy area or the sky, or pull one of these like lighter greens from the scarf in the toy bag. I don't know. What do you think? Light blue or a lighter green? I'll pull that out again in November. And then the last project that I'm currently stitching on is my Heaven and Earth design, Peacock Days, artwork by Josephine Wall. This is that project finished. I've explained this in one of my previous, or a couple of my previous videos, but I am stitching this to commemorate my husband and I's wedding. We had sort of like a peacock feather theme using the bright blues and purples and vibrant colors in the peacock feather. So this is kind of supposed to be me dreaming of my wedding with the peacocks on my head. And Josephine Wall is a very interesting artist in that she puts like there's little faces in the flowers, and they're in this bright area is kind of a castle sort of. So that's cool. I'm stitching at 28 count, 1/1 full crosses. And I'm about finished with the page. This is where it was the last time you saw it. And here I am now. So I've got a lot more of the white peacock finished. I say white, but man, there are a million colors in there. And you can kind of see the dark eye coming through. And then the peacock is sitting on her hair. So there's a lot of brown hair. And then this lighter part right here is a flower because there's flowers in her hair. I stitch using Pattern Keeper, so I just pick the top color and highlight that symbol in Pattern Keeper and stitch that whole color throughout the page and then move my way down. So it's basically done. I think there's like 1 or 2 colors still right here that are also a lot in her hair. And then I have some darker bits to still stitch. I'll get a page finished for 2021. And once November and December hit, I work on my Christmas full coverage that I have. It's by Tilton Crafts called Up on the Rooftop. So I'm hoping to get a page finish on that before the end of the year. I did make 2 pattern purchases. I got Teresa Wentzler's Noah's Ark sampler. And it's funny because I was just eyeing this project. I didn't buy it, but I was watching Sarah the Stitching Mommy a few days later and she showed how she had it, so I went and bought it. I really just like the scene with the rainbow and then the animals all around. I am also a lot like Sarah the Stitching Mommy in that I want to try all the different art or designers that I can. The designers that I actually enjoy their patterns. I want to try one of each kind, but my favorite is the drawn thread. So it's a kit. I got it on eBay. Comes with let's see, what is the fabric? 28 count even weave fabric. It doesn't say what kind of thread those are. And then another pattern that I was eyeing but didn't actually press the purchase button was Quaker Pumpkins by, it's Hello from Liz Matthews. So it says All Hallows Eve with those cute Quaker pumpkins all through. And I did purchase the Called For Weeks Dye Works threads. I think I'm still missing one that was out of stock at like every company I looked up. But I thought that was cute. And once I finish that page on my Haid, I am going to pull out this project called Esther's Waves by Northern Expressions Needleworks. Now, if you want to stitch this, just know that the called for threads on the back do not reflect the rainbow colorway. I bought all the called for threads, and it's reds, oranges, yellow, golds, browns, greens. Like exactly the colors you would see on fall trees. I decided that I would keep that, even though I really like the rainbow. And I would keep it because I live in Vermont, and that's what it looks like outside right this moment. red, orange, yellow, gold, green leaves on all the maple trees. It's beautiful. But I just want to make that as a disclaimer. Like, if you go and just buy the pattern and all the called for threads, it's not going to be rainbow. This is where I'm at so far. So this has a mixture of specialty stitches and cross stitches. So there's a band of Jessica stitches all at the top. Then this is a mixture of specialty and cross stitch Jessica stitches. This orange is all specialty stitch, more Jessica stitches. And these yellow flowers are all cross stitch. And there's going to be lots of beads that I haven't put in yet. There's going to be one in the center of each Jessica stitch and all throughout each of these bands to make it fill up the fabric space quite a bit more. And it's going to be long. I still need to get to the more of the gold, brown, green colors, and then it will repeat, go back up to the reds, orange, yellow. I really love the colors right now. Trying to decide if I should try to do some beads before I keep moving down, just because if I wait to the very end, I'm going to have so much beading to do. Okay, what else? I bought Needleminders. So I tried to show you all the newer ones that are on my projects, but I got this watermelon. It's Kate Villafrance or Villafranca, and her Etsy shop is called Lilac Dragon Handmade. And I believe she also sent me this elephant for free. And I apologize, I don't remember where the hearts and this pretty pink one is from. If you just Google Needleminders on Etsy, I'm sure they'll eventually pop up. You can get them. I already had these two. I got this cute teacup and saucer, and that one's Gina's Unique Needleminders. And then I was talking about the moth earlier. This is what I actually ordered, which is the moon and the star. And it's Hoops and More on Etsy. So there's that. Now, here's my plans. In 2022, I am doing a lot of seasonal stitching. So I will be done focusing a lot of my time on those months of the year by Little House Needleworks. So in 2022, I'm going to do a lot of starts on seasonal stitching. So I have all the Celtic Ladies. At the first of the year, I will be starting winter. And this is what winter looks like. If you use the call for. I'll keep all their skin and hair the same. But I definitely am not drawn to this color palette. And there's a lot of gorgeous, gorgeous conversions using blue or silvers or grays. I just have not found one that I'm actually totally in love with, because maybe they put a cloak on and I don't want mine to have a cloak, or they changed. I want to keep the dress the same, because a lot of people converted the dress to look more like the summer dress, maybe with different types of fabric. So I want to keep that the same. And then there's one that I really love, but there was no conversion provided. There's a million other people who already asked for the conversion, and it doesn't look like it was given, so I don't think I'm gonna find that. So I've been spending some time recently trying to do my own conversion. I was not leaning towards doing this because it's not easy for me. It doesn't come easy. I don't have any software to do conversions or do designing of cross stitch. So I literally, during my daughter Tinsley's dance class, went to Joann's because I'm not allowed to stay when I go there. I took Tessa to Joann's with me while my daughter Tinsley was dancing, and I pulled out the pattern, unfolded the whole pattern, and I found all the DMC call for threads. And I kind of laid them out like, here's the dress, here's what's used in this area of the dress. I didn't get around to any of the border because I ran out of time pretty fast. But this is as far as I got to so far. Now all my ladies are going to be stitched on .32 count Queens and lace, which is kind of a drab neutral, but I want their dresses to be bright and I want them to sing. So this is the conversion so far. Now, I don't know. I think all the colors. This is kind of a brighter blue but this one I think doesn't really go. It's a little too bright. So I'm still on the drawing board, and that's just for the dress portion. Just this. So there's like a real dark blue, a medium blue, and then 3 other blues that I have to figure out. And I don't want it to be too light, but I also don't want to be too dark. Call me Goldilocks. I need it to be somewhere in the middle. A lot of the threads that are in the dress also are down in this area. So I think what I need to do is just try to get one more color, play around with these 2 colors a little bit more. I also ordered all the blue and silver beads in the sizes that it's called for, and there's like size 11 seed beads and maybe one size 12 seed bead. And then I got all the blue and silver petite trouser braids online, so I have them in front of me at my fingertips, and that will also help me figure out what to use down here and in the border. So next dance class, I will again probably work more on the border and what's used there. I don't know if it will be the same colors as it's in the dress, which would make things a little easy, but we'll see. It's kind of fun. I still have some time to figure all this out and kit it up to be ready for the first of the year. So I have Celtic Noel. I'm keeping as is. I like it. The red and gold with a little bit of green. Now, spring, I like the purple, but I don't like gold with it. And so I've seen conversions where this is green and then this is pink or yellow. I've actually even seen someone maybe just turn this green and keep the purple here the same. The one I like the most is by Alexandra Wathy on Facebook. You can find that on the Celtic Lady Lavender and Lace Conversion page. I'm not sure if it even gives the color threads there, but her conversion is green with yellow. But what I want to do is green with purple, and I want it to be more of a crocus color, which is like this, have just a little more pink in it. Darker like this, but be a little more pink. Maybe actually a little lighter than that. Because crocus is the first flower that, one of the first flowers that blooms in the spring. For summer, I found a conversion that I'm going to use, and I'm not going to change a thing about it. It is called the Frangipani. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Frangipani conversion by Emma Kate. And I emailed that one to myself to print. It is a pink, yellow, green, a little bit of green. Love that one. Autumn, I am going to use the conversion by Janet Granger, and she has a blog. If you just Google Janet Granger blog, you'll find that. Love that conversion. And she's dropping leaves out of her hand. And then the Noel, I'm keeping the same. So I just need to do a little bit of work on winter, or a lot of work on winter and a little bit of work on spring, I think. And hopefully it looks good. I hope it looks so good that I'm gonna post it on the Celtic Ladies Facebook page, and people will be like, hey, what's your conversion? It's beautiful. That's the goal. All right. The other seasonal stitching I'm gonna do, so for the full month, or full season of winter, I'll be doing the Winter Celtic Lady, plus my other projects, but I'll be doing a focus on the Winter Celtic Lady, and then Drawn Thread Winter. I too am having a hard time finding a 4mm burgundy bead, because I ordered this, but this does not look like 4mm. This looks way bigger. It calls for 4mm black beads and a 4mm burgundy bead. And I watch Tina Little Stitcher, and she's doing this project, and she mentioned how hard it is for her to find the beads too. And she's in the UK. So I'll do that when spring hits. I'm moving on to the Spring Celtic Lady, and spring welcome Drawn Thread. Summer, it has a very patriotic theme to it, which is good because I don't really have any patriotic stitching. I just hit my daughter's toy over here. Welcome Autumn. And I got the fabrics too. And then this is a random holiday one thrown in by Drawn Threads, Trick or Treat. So I'm collecting some Halloween patterns. I have my pumpkins, I have the Quaker pumpkin, and then this one. And I had some dinky dyes. I'm gonna use the called for threads for these. I had some dinky dyes from previous Drawn Threads that I've done, but I did have to go ahead and purchase, I don't know how many more, maybe 8 to 10 more. So another thing that I was thinking about giving away, and I don't know if anybody would be interested in this, but because everyone uses Pattern Keeper or software, maybe not everyone. Maybe there are a lot of people who still use paper patterns. But I purchased a Stitch in Time by Heaven and Earth Designs a while back. And before I purchased this, or after I purchased this, I realized there's something called a stitching shelf, which is basically the same thing except it doesn't have this hoop. And I thought, well, I'd rather not stitch that hoop on mine. So I'd already purchased it. I already printed 2 copies of all the pages and put it in a binder. So if anybody is interested in this, let me know, because I'd be happy to send this out to you. Something that I do, is it in here? Here, hang on, let me see if I can find it. Oh dear. I'm just knocking you guys around today. It's just in the other room. I'm gonna grab it. Okay, I'm on my way back. So there's a lot of colors in these Heaven and Earth designs. And the way that they're listed is on multiple pages. So here's the color and the DMC number and the symbol, and that it's multiple pages. So if you're searching for a color or a symbol, you have to like flip through multiple pages to find it. So what I did for my Peacock Days before, I had, I've used a couple different softwares to help me since doing it from the paper pattern. I cut out the important information. So you can see that's the page ending. So it has my symbol, the color that you can kind of look for in your pack, like, oh, I need to be searching for a blue, and then there's a DMC number. So it's all on a piece of cardboard. So you can see it's right here. I go from up here. I had to cut it right here. But this is probably 3 pages worth of DMC colors all on one piece of cardboard, and it's taped so that it stays nice and it's not getting all bent and crinkled and out of order, or you don't have to go through stapled pages or anything like that. So if that's helpful to anybody, that's what I was doing. And that's what you could do as well if you want to have this. So please just comment in the comments below if you are wanting to get your hands on this pattern and actually want to stitch it. What else is going on? I want to say that I've been using Audible, and this past couple years, and this year I'm on my 7th book. I don't go through it super fast because usually I listen to a book. There's some tasks at work I can listen to a book while I'm doing it. And then also if I go on a walk or a run outside, I'll turn on this. And maybe sometimes if I'm like washing the bottles for my daughter, it takes like 20 minutes and everyone's occupied, I can listen. So that's kind of how I listen to books, because usually when I'm stitching, I watch TV. But I really like that. It helps me actually read books, because before I wasn't, because I use all my extra time stitching. And right now I'm listening to The Henna Artist by Alka Joshi, and I really like that. I'm learning a lot about Indian culture. Another one, I usually get book ideas from friends who post it on Instagram that they finished reading it, or Reese Witherspoon's book club list. Like I got Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. That was really good. And they're actually turning that one into a movie, which is one of my favorite things to do, is read a book that is going to be turned into a movie. I also like nonfiction books too, based on true stories. So about the time I finish a book, I'm eligible for another, I don't know if I call it a coupon or a token or a redemption coupon. It feels like I'm not paying for a book because there's a free one ready for me to download on Audible. So I like that. It's through Amazon. Trying to think. I think that's about it. Things are really busy. Ethan just got finished with doing soccer. He's 6 and he's in 1st grade. He didn't like soccer. If you ask him if he liked playing soccer, he'll tell you he did. But when we were there, he took a lot for him to actually participate. And there was like a lot of reward-based I don't know if you want to call it, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you are trying to give him something for doing what he's supposed to do. It'll come to me. But I like to call it, he's being rewarded for doing what he's supposed to do, which is participate, but he didn't a lot of the time anyway. So I asked him if he wants to do soccer next year. He said no, and I'm like, that is just fine. What we're trying to do with him is get him involved in anything there is out there, and then hopefully he'll find one that he's interested in and wants to focus on. So he's done t-ball, and he liked that more than he liked soccer. So we'll probably definitely, he needs to at least do one thing. So we'll probably definitely do t-ball again next year. And if he says next year he wants to do soccer, I guess we'll let him, but he'll have to keep in mind that he has to go to every practice and every game and participate. So this winter we're gonna do karate, and then also they have a gym, a local gym here, gymnasium, and they have Little Ninja Warrior. So they have like this whole section with little obstacles. So I'm gonna sign him up for that because I do think he would like that. Yeah, that's what he's up to. He wants to do Lego Mania, and he expressed interest in learning how to downhill ski. And that is something my husband will definitely do with him because I don't really know how to ski. Like, I can make it down one of the easier hills, but I'm no good at it. What else? Tinsley, she is 3 and she's in preschool daycare, and she does dance on Tuesdays. And it's like a mixture of all different genres of dance. She is super darling in her little dance outfit, and her leotard and tights and tutu. And she seems to really like that. And she's going to do gymnastics over the winter. And then Tessa, she's just in daycare, and our sweet little baby. She's so happy. She's going to be a ladybug for Halloween. Tinsley is going to be Cinderella. But 3 months ago, when my husband was at Costco with her, they had costumes out, and he came home with a Wonder Woman costume. And she wore it a lot. But when it came down to it, and Halloween's actually approaching, she did not want to be Wonder Woman. She wants to be Cinderella. So I went ahead and got her Cinderella costume. But she'll get to wear both this week because there's 2 days she's supposed to dress up at school. So one day she can do Wonder Woman and one day Cinderella, and she's actually going to be Cinderella on Halloween. And then Ethan, he chose to be a Mandalorian from Star Wars. I'm not really familiar with that, and honestly, I don't even think he knows what it is either because I'm not sure he's watched Star Wars yet. In fact, I don't know if it's age appropriate or not. If it is, I'll probably try to have him watch it this coming Friday or Saturday leading up to Halloween so that he has a better idea of what he's dressed up as. But it's a fun costume. I can see why he chose that. We're redoing our basement. Yeah, the last few weeks has been busy with removing everything from our basement, which was just horribly, awfully messy, hoarder looking. And that's because I never go down there. It just is a catch-all location for all of the stuff we have, plus all the kids' toys. And that's also where my husband works. And I don't know how he does it because it's messy, but that's the difference between him and I. And that's why we work, is because he's more relaxed about that sort of thing. And I'm more like, okay, everything has to be put away, have a home. That's how I feel better and I can work. Our neighbor found a great contractor and we liked the work that that contractor did. So we're like, let's just go ahead and do it. It was reasonable. So we'll have a great big guest room directly underneath this living area. So this is a pretty big area for a guest room at least. And a big window. It's a walkout basement too. And that will be where Trevor has his office. And then we'll have a large living space for a couch and toys and my treadmill. And then what else? There's gonna be a full bathroom. Not a bath. Maybe it's a shower, stand-up shower, but not a tub. And then Trevor wants a wet bar, so there'll be an area near there with a sink and a refrigerator and a microwave, some cabinets, and a large storage space for all our stuff we're keeping. And then my favorite thing about the basement is under the stairs, we are doing a kid area. So we're gonna finish that space underneath the stairs. We got a narrow door that we're gonna cut so it's smaller, like 48 inches tall. And then we're gonna cut a little opening so they can pretend they're doing mail. And there'll be a little window cut out of the drywall as well, and we'll frame it with wood. And then we're going to get some wood to make sort of a roof. So it'll come up to a point and come all the way down to the bottom of the stairs. And we're gonna put shingles on the wall, make it look like an actual house. So it's gonna be so super cute. We're gonna put their play kitchen in there. I'm even thinking about getting a new play kitchen because this one's pretty used and abused, and there's some super cute ones out there. But I don't know, that's like spending $300 more on another kitchen, even though we already have one that the kids like anyway. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of refresh it and get a new kitchen down there. So, and I'm really excited. I'll actually go down in the basement now instead of avoiding it. But we've been spending a lot of time moving everything up, and I've sorted through all their toys and made sure all the toys are put together and it's not just like a big hodgepodge of stuff. So all the parts are in like little Sterilite bins or baggies, and they're in shelving in the other room. And our garage is completely full of decorations, other stuff that we have that only needs to be used at certain times, but we want to keep it. We're in the process of purging a lot of that out because it's just stuff we've had over the years that we don't use or we've acquired but don't need. And our storage downstairs is significantly smaller than what we used to have, which was basically free reign of the basement. So my goal is to get all the stuff hopefully packed up in large Sterilite bins, plastic bins. And once the basement's finished, my husband will bring the racks down into the storage area, and we just basically get the bin, put it down, get the bin, put it down, and it's gonna look very nice and organized, and we'll have a freezer in there. There'll also be the odds and ends like our Christmas tree. But I was even thinking about only getting real Christmas trees from now on and not having a fake tree anymore. We'll see. What else? Yeah, it's just coming up to be the busy season, and it's perfect time to have the basement finished because I have 5 people coming for Christmas, 5 adults. So there'll be a lot more areas for them to sleep, and we can stay up late and play games and cards while the kids will be on the top level, so we won't disturb them as much. They still get up in the night. Tessa sometimes doesn't and sometimes does, you just never know. And then our daughter Tinsley will wake up in the middle of the night and she won't go to sleep unless you're laying in there. We even have like a mattress pad in the middle of the floor, and she won't, if she wakes up in the middle of the night, she just starts screaming, crying, which is unlike her because otherwise she's a tough gal. She'll fall flat on her face and not cry. She's not really crying a lot during the day, but when she's sleeping and there's not an adult in there and she wakes up in the middle of the night, she cries bloody murder until you get there. So that's what we're going through with that. But she's recently potty trained. She only used pull-up at night, so that's fun. That's good. Yeah. I got a new job. Well, not a new job. I'm working at the same company. I work for the federal government, but I got kind of a completely different position, and it allows me to keep moving forward each year. Right now, the position I'm at is I'm capped at where I'm at this grade level, but the new position that I am gonna have is you can keep moving up each year and higher grade levels, and then you're eventually qualified to apply for higher positions. So that's good. It's opening the door for me there. The only thing is I do have to do a 6-week training course event at sometime within the next year. They haven't told me when. Previously for that, you have to travel to do that. They had it in Texas for a while, which is how I met my husband, because he works at the same company, and that I grew up in Texas, and when he came down for his training course, we met. They don't do it in Texas anymore. Now they do it in South Carolina, but since COVID, they've had it be remote. So right now it's up in the air whether they're gonna keep having us go down to South Carolina for 6 weeks and stay in a hotel, or do it remotely on your computer. And I'm hoping they keep it remote because I don't want to be gone for 6 whole weeks. That just seems too long for me. Maybe a week or 2 sounds like a good little break. I'll still miss my family, but it will feel good. At 6 weeks, I think I'll be real homesick and missing my family, and I'll miss my little babies, and I don't want to. And to me, it's like, I think they would find out by having done it remotely for a little while that they're saving a lot of money. So we'll see what happens. I mean, of course, I have to do what I have to do. And I bet my family will come visit me for a weekend when I'm down there, and we can explore a little bit. But I hope it's just remote and I'm doing it from my living room. We'll see. But that's good. Moving on with my work, and feel like I'm going back to school for like a little mini class, mini college course. Okay, well, my foot is asleep now. I think that's about it. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for sticking with me if you stuck with me this far. Oh, I wanted to say I ran across Jenny the Long Dog Stitcher, and I really enjoy her videos about gardening, and she has 3 young kids. I think we're the same age, but she had started having kids a little younger than me. So I like seeing all her videos because she also like shows you her life and her kids in the video, kind of like what her days are like and all her gardening. And I don't have much of a yard, but like her. but I have a little area that I can plant. I bought some bulbs recently, some crocus bulbs, tulip bulbs, and daffodils. So I'm actually going to try and plant those today because this is the prime time to go ahead and plant those for them to hopefully come up in the spring. Anyway, just wanted to say I've really been enjoying her videos. I thought it was funny because she loves long dogs, and one of the things that came up in her videos she did was answering questions, and one of the questions was, what's a color thread for a long dog sampler that you would never use? And she goes, oh, I don't know, purple? And I just had to laugh because I have one long dog sampler that I'm working on called Spirit of Veerland, and I actually am doing it on a lilac Belfast linen with a dark purple. Like, oh gosh, she would probably see mine and go, oh, why would you choose those colors? But anyway, I like what she has to share. I hope everybody is doing well, and happy stitching. Bye.